Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Love and Victory Show with Val. But Val and Brother Carter, unfortunately, are not here.
Damn.
Do you know why?
I do know why they're not here, because it's a national holiday.
It is a national holiday, you guys.
National.
Mark your calendars. Tomorrow is the Valerie Carter's 60th birthday. And I know she would not mind me saying her age because she is 60 years young, as she would say. She's fabulous. She's that girl.
Yeah.
She's a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a CEO, an icon, a businesswoman, an entrepreneur.
All the things.
She's probably watching us.
I hope so. She'll be sleeping.
I think she's watching, and I think she's going to try to come into the show at some point, because how could she not?
It is 6 a.m. where she's at, though.
Yes, but she gets up to get here.
That's
at
true.
6
Yeah.
a.m. every
Yeah.
Saturday to be
So-
with you all.
She's got it.
She's got it. So we're ready to start our segment. If you have been around for most of the conversation, it's been super juicy. It's been fun. The ladies have a lot of energy this morning. Not like we got up at 5-something, 6. We have a lot of energy, and we're ready to have this conversation, because I think that it's important that we talk about what it means to check your circle. Is checking your circle necessary? But before we get there, I want to introduce the beautiful ladies that are here with me on the show today. So I'm going to go first. My name is Stephanie. You all are very familiar with me. You see me on the show every third Saturday of the month. A lot of us connect via social media. I'm happy to be here. Love being a part of the Carter crew. Y'all know that I'm a therapist, and I got a coloring book that's out. If you like the color, you can join the other 82 people that have purchased this coloring book in the last 2 weeks.
Hey.
82 units. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to my girl, Shaundara.
Hi, my name is Shaundara Jones. I am a mother and a wife. I'm also an entrepreneur. I own a home care agency where we care for seniors, kids, children, anyone that needs that personal care in the comfort of their home.
What's the name of this home care agency?
Synergy Home Care of Northeast Houston and Southeast Houston. So I cover the Northeast side of Houston, and I also have an office in Pearland, League City, and Webster. Synergy does cover all of Houston. Houston.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my two offices.
And didn't you recently attain an award for like being like the best to ever do it? I remember seeing a trophy.
Yes, I'm very proud, and I love what I do. And I have got a couple of awards, and I'm very, very proud of my team. It just didn't take me. I have a team, and we love what we do.
Yeah.
I have a vision, and I'm executing it, and I thank God.
Come on.
Amen.
Come on. Thank
Thank
God. All right. Comb. Who you are. The queen.
Hi, everybody. I'm the Riddle Queen. My name is Bijul. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm the oldest of 3 girls. I'm a lawyer. I'm a therapist. I am a proud alumna of Spelman College and a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Come on.
Divine.
Yeah.
It's giving divine woman.
Yes.
Everything about you says that. Okay. And last but certainly not least, my girl, Miss Lightfoot.
Good morning. I am Brandi Lightfoot, a mother of 2 children, a wife, and I work in philanthropy. I love serving others and doing what it needs to do to get the job done and raise the moolah.
Yeah, she's good at that. I always say Brandi could sell water to a well. The well is literally in water. And Brandi would be like, well, the water that I can offer you, it's premium. There's less bubbles. So literally we have an exceptional panel of women today from all different backgrounds, different walks of life. And so you are really in for a treat. But I'm going to throw it back to Miss Abigail for the acronym.
I also want to introduce myself.
Oh,
yeah. They keep forgetting about this because
I
wasn't here last week, and we did get a comment. Someone said they missed me last week, so I just want to say she's here. She's back. I know you missed me. My name's Abigail. I am the executive media coordinator, producer, whatever you want to call me. I'm here.
Yeah, and she's always doing it. Like,
Yeah.
we couldn't do this, honestly, without Abby and Anna.
Hello.
Honestly.
Thank you so much.
She's
Lovely
go ahead and
Anna's here.
introduce yourself.
Yes.
Well, guys, I'm your wonderful life leadership coach, self-love empowerment. Come and listen to me every Tuesday, too.
Okay,
Yes.
every Tuesday,
We're
what
just
time?
gonna-
After dark.
I know, right?
What time on Tuesday can they listen to you?
5:30 p.m. We're about to go into that section in the loop, guys.
Yes, we're about to do in the loop, but don't forget you're our nonprofit coordinator.
Yes, and that's why we also want to tell them what we're doing.
Yes. So we're going to do our In the Loop segment. It's super quick. We're going to keep you guys in the loop with everything that LV with Val has going on. Okay. So here at LV with Val, we have our nonprofit called LNV Enterprise Resources, Inc., where we help people in the community with disabilities. We have a QR code here up on the screen. You can scan there to make a contribution to our efforts. Right now, we are doing a school supplies drive. We extended that school supplies drive. So that one is still going on. You can get the information here. This one says the last drop off is 7:31, but we are still taking donations. You can bring them by our office, or you can make a monetary donation. We also, if you want to donate kind of more passively, we have Kroger rewards. So if you go into your Kroger account online and use the code QH541. Every time you shop at Kroger, not only will you be getting your rewards points, but you will be donating to LNV Enterprise Resources, Inc. And then this is a little more information about the extension for our school supplies drive. Now, along with our nonprofit, we, of course, have other radio shows here on our radio station. So Anna just talked about Empower Hour with Coach Anna every day, or every Tuesday, I'm sorry, at 5:30 p.m.
Tuesday.
We also have Tasteful and Toxic, which is every Wednesday at 8 a.m. That one's with Brother Carter and Mrs. Carter, and we get toxic on that one. And then I have a show as well with my mom on Fridays at 11 a.m. called Journeys and Ambitions. And if you guys would like to collaborate with LV with Val in any way, shape, or form, you can reach me at info@lvwithval.com or call me at 832-913-1359. Whether you want to do advertising or you want to collaborate or you want a show on our station, however you want to work with us, reach me there.
Boom.
So good. You're just so
Very good.
professional.
I know.
Okay, this topic, I'm ready to get into the topic because it's so juicy.
Now we have the
It's
acronym.
going to be...
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to be so quick. I'm so sorry. I'll be quick.
Because we have a lot to say. No, do your thing.
Yes.
You're doing so good.
Thank you. So the acronym is supposed to set the tone for the conversation, so we have something to go off. So I'll shut up after this, I promise.
No, don't shut up.
The word of the day is frenemies.
F
F is. I was gonna say F is.
For a lot of things.
The word of the day is frenemies because we're talking about checking your circle. So F
Ooh.
is for foe, something made to mimic something else. R is for reliable, good quality, and able to be trusted. E is for exhausting, very tiring, or worrisome. N is for nostalgic, reminiscent of past occurrences, of fond remembrance. E is for engaging, charming, and attractive. M is for mature, fully grown, or developed. I is for insightful, showing deep understanding. E is for egotistical, self-centered. S is for steadfast, unwavering in position and support.
Ooh, steadfast, unmovable. Okay, ladies, and anyone can jump in. When you heard that the topic was check your circle, what came to your mind?
I checked my circle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Come on,
Well,
practicality.
mentally, I thought about it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't like
yeah.
kick
Okay.
anybody out. Yeah. But I was like, let me think.
Okay, so from that, let me think what came about.
Thank you, God, that I have a good circle now because it wasn't always that way.
Ooh. Okay. What about you all?
Okay. When I had that same thought, like I have checked my circle and I'm very blessed about with those that are continue to stay in my circle and be in my circle.
Absolutely.
For me, when I thought about check your circle, what came to mind was being able to say things to your people in your circle and them not be offended by it.
Mhm.
Taking it from a place of like love and caring, regardless to what the topic is.
Ooh, I like that. Say that.
Go
Go ahead, jump in.
Yes, I agree.
And
However, I think the people need to be mindful of how they deliver these messages, because I've heard a lot of people say, not a lot, a lot, you can say something to someone and that other person takes offense, and the person who's delivering the message will say, well, I love you, I care about you, so just don't be offended. But it doesn't always work that way. Like
people do get offended.
Right.
So you're saying delivery matters.
Yeah, delivery matters, because sometimes we find that we feel like delivery doesn't matter. Like, this is my sister. She knows I love her. She knows I'm going to support her. So I can just say whatever I need to say, and she just has to deal with it, deal with the delivery.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I think it depends on what it is. And sometimes people are coming from an emotional space. So the way that I deliver it is not that I'm delivering it disrespectfully. It's also about how you perceive what I'm delivering. So,
I agree.
And I think with that too, sometimes we have to consider, how is that person's personality? Are they a person that receives things when they're so, straightforward? Is this a person that I may need to water it down a little bit, so it's not so potent, so that they can actually receive? I think going back to reading the room, but also knowing the different personalities that are in your circle.
And so for me, if you're in my circle, y'all know who I am. And I'm not making an excuse or saying that it should be or should not be. But if you my girl and you did something foul and I'm coming to you about it, I'm delivering it because I have an emotion about it.
Well,
so the way that I'm sending it to you is because we're not doing that.
No, that's definitely understandable. Like, so there's someone that I'm thinking about, and this person is of a different race than me, and they will say things that are offensive to me as a Black woman, and they genuinely don't mean any harm. They genuinely don't know, because they're not Black, and they're a woman, but they're not Black. And so many times I've had to correct this person or tell her, this means this when you say it's a Black woman, and it's offensive. And they just think that because we are locked in and, I should just be okay, and I should just give her the benefit of the doubt. And I'm like, no, I don't have to tolerate being offended just because we are in a relationship with one another. And the fact that I'm telling you means that I love and respect you enough to confront you with this information. I don't waste time explaining my feelings to people that I'm ready to write off. But because I've told you, this is how it makes me feel. Yeah. You should be aware of this. I didn't like it. For me, that's because I care about you.
Yeah. So this kind of leads me into my next question. When do you notice that it's too much conflict in this circle for us to continue to have a strong friendship? And then do you have another conversation, or do you say, okay, we've had too many arguments or, disagreements about the same thing. It's time for me to part ways. Or do you not reach that point because conflict is inevitable in all relationships?
Oh, no.
So for me, I'm sorry. Go.
No, you go.
No, you go. No.
I don't want my delivery to be wrong.
Well, we'll see.
Give us the prime of shipping, girl. Deliver it how you gonna deliver it.
Fast. No, so for me, I just feel like at this point in my life, I don't have time for conflict. So if I see that, not saying that conflict will never arise, because we're all different, we're all adults, like women have women things, and that's just what it is. But if there's an ongoing conflict, then now let's just not do that, because I don't have the energy to keep talking about conflict. We should be conflict resolution and moving on. I shouldn't continue to say hey, if what you're saying to me as my friend is offending me, or if the things that we're going through, we keep on going through them, then maybe this is not my person and you should not be in my circle. So check it.
I like that. What do you think, Shaun?
I agree. I mean, I feel like when it start becoming exhausting, I shouldn't have to constantly tell you there's a conflict. Yeah, conflict is gonna happen, but obviously you're not listening to me, and obviously you're not taking heed to how I feel. Absolutely. And it's becoming exhausting. So you're not that person, or
I think that's good. Yep, Abby, go ahead, chime in, please.
I have some comments that I wanted to read off. So, Neville Washington, frenemies, whoever created this word, salute to them. I think more of us have frenemies than we maybe think. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes when you really take a look, you're like, actually, maybe I'm just keeping that person around because, you know, that's why I put nostalgic in those words.
History.
Like sometimes those are the
We've always been friends. We were friends in childhood.
Yeah.
It's like that history component makes you hold on.
And I think we need to get away from that because just because you have history with somebody doesn't necessarily mean you got to stick with it.
They have to bring more to the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a romantic
And
relationship.
accepting expiration dates.
And that's okay.
Everything has an expiration date. What happens when you consume food past its expiration date?
You're
Maybe there's chaos and calamity in your life because you have people that are in this season with you that were not meant to go this far with you. But we don't want to grieve the history of that relationship when we know it's not the same.
It's a memory, and that's all it needs to be.
And we're romanticizing it, and we need to relinquish it. But anyway, go ahead.
Lori also said, I rarely check my circle because I don't have many people close to me. And I can relate to her on that. I have a few close friends that I consider my circle, and then everyone else, they're acquaintances. They're out there. I associate, you know. Oh wait, sorry, that's for our Q&A segment later. And then you said this is your friend Shay. Shay said, check your circle made me think about how blessed I am to have friends that support me, motivate, and pray for me. Check and protect your circle. I like protect. I like that aspect of it too. And then Rohit, who is our graphic designer here at Love and Victory, said, when I hear this topic, it is about keeping your good friends close and leaving your bad ones out. And then Shay said, if you don't add value to my life, see you later. Bye.
Into what you said about we need to get away from holding on to people who no longer provide any value. Like they are not an asset anymore. They are a liability. What do you all feel are the indicators of that? I know you said exhaustion when it's like the relationship is exhausting, but what else would you all say are indicators that maybe this person should no longer hold this position in my life?
Confusion. Like you spend so much time trying to figure out what they meant, you know, why they did this. Did they mean it like that? And when it just gets confusing and you have to spend so much time figuring it out, I think it's a good point to examine the value.
I would say reciprocation.
Ooh.
Because I'm always go back to it. We're busy. And if you have a family, and you're taking care of your family and you're doing all of these things, like you don't always have time to spoon feed or baby and nurture a relationship of a friend. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think you should prioritize friendships, but oftentimes just with the way that the world works, like you got things to do, you got baseball practice, you got all of these things and you just don't have the time. But having someone that understands and is able to reciprocate that type of friendship for whatever you need them for, to me, is really important. So
I think that's so good.
Reciprocation is good.
I always say reciprocity births longevity.
Amen.
If there isn't that back and forth, I pour into you, you pour into me, I'm taking from you, you're taking from me. You aren't just calling me when your life is in shambles, but you're also calling to just tell me about the wins or to check in on me or to send a text. Like being intentional, I'm thinking of you, even though we're all busy, because we all are. I think that's one thing for me personally that I value so much about all of my friends. Abby said earlier that I have a lot of friends. And I do have a lot of friends. Because I'm
a little Miss Popular.
And I don't think it's anything wrong
of my life.
Amen. I don't think it's anything wrong with having a lot of friends. I've always been one where people would say, oh, you got friends. Oh, you got a busload of.
Well, get the bus.
Like I do. Or we can close the door and keep riding. How you want to do it?
But you think about what you've learned over the years with collecting data on all the different friendships and the different stages of your life. And now you know what you actually desire in a friend. When you're looking to get married, you create this, some people create this list of the attributes and the characteristics that they would like to see portrayed in their partner. I do the same with my friends. I'm looking for people who are forgiving, Because I might say something, do something, step sideways, not even know that I'm stepping sideways and offend you. And I will always come back and apologize. But I need somebody who's forgiving that I didn't text you back.
Right.
But you saw me post on Instagram.
My business.
Because it's automated. I had somebody text me one time talking about some, hey, did you ever see my text? I saw you posted. Baby, it's automated. That is
Scheduled.
It was scheduled. Yeah. 7 p.m. Friday. Hey,
oh my God.
It just goes back to what I'm really saying.
Wait,
my ADHD is like causing me to like dance around. Is that as you get older, you start to notice more of what you need in friendships, and just being fun for me now is not enough. But when I was in college.
That's all you needed.
Fun, exciting. Life is so
funny.
stressful.
Make you laugh.
Can you pray with me? Like literally, can I text you and say, this is what I'm enduring. I really need you to put me on the prayer list. And can I count on you that you're actually going to offer that prayer up to God?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That is important to me.
Right.
Do you know my mama name? Do you know Theophilus?
Can I add something?
Can we add something?
Yeah, please.
We got a little bit to say.
I think I've talked about this before. When it comes to reciprocity, I think it's easy when you're talking about reciprocity. You most people I think of like, yeah, you don't want to give more than you're receiving. But like, I think it's also important to be accountable, to take it, like to take note of when you're maybe the one that's not giving as much. And are you willing to? Cause like you said, we get caught up, we get busy. And if I forget to text somebody back, I also need a friend that's going to know to like, if I don't text you for a while, don't take it personal. Just say like, hey, I need more communication, whatever, and we'll work it out. But I actually, my very first conversation with Anna, me and Anna met out, and then we became coworkers, but we were friends first. And our first conversation, I was telling her about this girl that I was friends with. She had just become in my circle, like just a few months. And she was asking so much of me. Like she wanted me to drop what I was doing and be there for her on like a Tuesday evening, cancel my plans to be with her. And she wanted me to drive her home all the time. She did not live close to me. Like we would go to things.
She don't have a car.
She had a car, but she was a very like needy person. Extremely needy, emotionally, physically. And I had to take a look and I had to have a conversation with her and tell her like, listen, you're cool and all, but like you're expecting a lot of me and I cannot give that to you. So we need to like dial back our level of friendship, because I'm going to end up taking, because she would also offer a lot. Well, let me do this for you. Let me do this for you. Let me do this for you. And I don't feel comomfortable taking like from somebody. Friendship. I think she thought it was, but
if you're listening,
that's another story for another day.
Nah, tea in the street, spill the society.
Spill it.
What are you gonna say?
She did. She wanted some of this.
She wanted. Well, for me, I had to check my circle because half of my friends were getting married. The other half of my friends are single and traveling. And so I'm like, which circle benefits me the most, right? And I had to make that like hard decision of not being able to hang out as much with my now married friends and make that transition because, I was always texting them, always hanging out with them, and I miss them. But, they got married life going on and it's not the same. It's not the same balance. Like we can't do our usual
different expectations now too.
We have we used to have like our usual Saturday nights or brunches. We can't really do that anymore. I'm like, and I understand it, right? But it got hard when they started kind of more like saying like, Anna, why don't you try this and to be able to date so you could have a boyfriend? I'm like, I think it's giving me anxiety right now to date. So I don't want to be in.
I want to feel pressure.
Yeah, I don't want to feel pressure. I want to be dating because you guys think I should be with someone because you guys are with someone or stuff like that. So I started getting like that. So I had to differentiate a lot between my circles now, even though they're my friends, we're on the same circle. It's different circles that come up when seasons start coming about and different projects you start in life. So that's for me when I heard check your circle.
Joyce even said I have different circles for different activities.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah. Have you all had to ever kind of what you're saying? You're talking about grieving the way that the relationship was and accepting the way that it is now. Have you all have you all ever been in a situation where you have had to grieve a relationship that was super important to you, and how did you maneuver that season?
Yes.
I have. I felt like I have. Because I am a believer that people come in your life and friendships are seasonal.
Mhm.
You know, we outgrow each other, but even a few of my closest friends that I grew up with, I valued our friendship. But as I got older, and I hated to see that friendship end, but I knew that we outgrown each other. So I had to mentally and emotionally, like literally grieve a relationship. Not that you use that word, because I mean, it was hard. It's hard to break off a relationship that you thought, I mean, a friendship that you valued, but you outgrown. You both grown it, whether it was just you or the other person. And then now that friendship or that relationship that you had is no longer there. So you have to let it go. I mean, it's not gonna be easy, but you have to let it go, and then pray that God gives you the friends that's in your life now that stick and grows with you.
I had to pray to get a toxic one out a little bit. I was living downtown, you know, city girl, and this college friend roommate, you know, she moved in with me, but slowly I started realizing, like, oh, she's not all the way there. She's, you know, she's single.
Diabolical.
That's so diabolical. It was diabolical to the point where she's locking out her boyfriend out of the apartment. He's calling me at 3 a.m. to open the door. That's how
Your apartment.
Yes.
Yeah.
My apartment. And so I was like trying to cut it off real nice, you know, saying like, hey, thank you for being my roommate, but I don't think the lease is going to go through. And, you know, I wrote her a nice letter. I write letters to all my friends. And I wrote her this letter kind of like saying, thank you, you know, thank you for moving in with me, for being my roommate, for this friendship and everything. But I don't think, you know, we should continue being roommates or anything like that. And then slowly, I started realizing like she was always lying to me. She was always coming home kind of a bit drunk. She never told me she had a whole sugar daddy. Like, it was so messed up. And then when I finally moved out of the house, of the apartment, we finally moved out, and I started kind of like just teetering back, taking away little bits. I stopped
Like
following
the
her on
access
Instagram.
to you.
Yeah. Stopped following on Instagram, stopped following her on Snapchat. And then Snapchat was so important to her that when she saw it, I unfollowed her on Snapchat. She went crazy. She blocked me everywhere.
Oh.
That's where the petty started, right? And that's how I knew, like, yeah, she's not a good friend. She's a toxic friend. She started, she blocked me everywhere. She said that I was being disrespectful, that I wasn't appreciative of her enough or something. I'm like, first of all, you've put me in situations where, one night, guys, we were out downtown and we were in this club, and she took another friend with her. That girl had one drink, and 20 minutes later, she's like knocked out of her ass. She can't walk. She can't even open her eyes. We had to leave the club. And I'm like, your friend gave her that drink. I wonder if I would have accepted that drink. Exactly. So I was like, no bueno.
Just
so
like uncomfortable situation.
Yeah. And after that, you know, I had to pray. I was like, I came home anxious filled. Like, she definitely had some dark spirits around her, you know, that definitely, you know, like, it's just that type of person that is so heavy that it just comes with you. So I had to pray. I had to do a lot of cleansing, a lot of sage. I was saging myself, you know, everything. So when those relationships come into your life, those type of friendships, I think they're definitely to teach you a lesson, to teach you how to read people, to teach you how to check your circle, you know, check those friends. Because like the last 6 months of that lease, guys, I was like going crazy. I was so ew.
I have a question. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you think about too, your home is your most intimate space.
Yeah.
It's like, it should be the most sacred where you can go, you can decompress, really unwind. And so you let her, I think that's also a lesson too, like be cautious the people that you let into your most intimate.
Right.
Your home.
Even not living with you, like even just letting people in your house.
space. Yeah.
And people love to say, I'm gonna come to your house. You're not. My dog.
My dog will bite you.
But I thought about something. She is a Doberman. But I thought about something when you were talking. Is it always necessary to have a conversation before you discard? Is that what you're gonna say?
I was gonna ask about, you know, they say quiet quitting. Like, how do you feel about like passively leaving? We're on the same.
Do y'all do that?
I've done that. I've done it both ways. I've ghosted someone, if we're going to be very honest about it. I know.
What do you think is the most like productive, or like what do you think has gotten the best results for you and the other person?
Well, I've quietly quit a friendship. I didn't completely ghost, but just gradually
Scale back. Yeah.
And then I've had a very honest conversation. This is not a friendship to me because of a pattern of behavior, blah, 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 wish you well, blah, blah, blah. Neither one took it well. So I don't know what the best way is.
What led you to quiet quit opposed to having the conversation?
I was younger. I was much younger.
Okay.
So I didn't have the best boundaries back then.
Yeah.
If I was friends with that person today, I would have told her straight up, these are the things that you've done over several years. I don't like it and wish you well. I was just much younger then and much more immature.
Yeah.
And then, back then I didn't really deal with conflict well. So it's just easier for me to just pull back instead of just telling the person this is what it was.
Because I feel like sometimes that feels like you're almost put on the spot because now that person's going to ask you questions and you're like,
and I don't want to do that.
Right.
And
like
then you're going to lie and say you don't know
say,
about it, but you absolutely know. So,
it can be nerve-wracking. I'm a quiet quitter too.
But I also think that's why people stay in our circles too long. We don't want to take inventory because we're afraid of the conflict that is potentially going to arise from me saying, I do not want to be your friend anymore.
Now I'll say it at this stage of my life. It's just much easier. And, just having good personal boundaries.
And they can
you don't have to explain.
Yeah.
You can just say, this is what it is. Best of luck to you. And that's it.
Yeah. I do think it's better for the other person when they have that closure because then they can, in their next friendship, not make the same mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
But sometimes people know what
I was going to say, a lot of people, closure is a myth because they know exactly what they're doing.
Because why are you playing in my face?
You know exactly what you're doing.
And so maybe we don't need a conversation. What you thinking, Ms. Lightfoot? You're over there. I see you smirking. What's coming up for you?
So initially the topic was check your circle. And just from listening, it sounds like everybody is like, y'all getting kicked out the circle. How do you address the circle that you love that did something out of line? Like, okay, you just said or did something, but I don't want to end it. I feel like we should be able to come to each other as adults, as friends, as whatever you want to call it, and be able to work through the conflict opposed to being afraid of the conflict and either quietly quitting or falling back or writing a note or writing a 4-page.
Well, I said earlier that, Aaliyah.
So for me, and that could be a fault of mine, like a default of mine. I don't want to kick everybody out. I want to be able to figure it out and see if we can come to resolve. And if you say you my girl, like you say you my girl, I should be able to check you on something.
Yeah.
And we can talk through it and move forward.
I agree.
And so I also feel like that comes with maturity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I said earlier that, when I approach someone with conflict or not conflict, with confrontation, it's because I care about you and I value you. I want you to know that this is what you've done to hurt me so we can get over it and move on. But there are some people who don't deserve that level of grace. Their behavior has just been so egregious.
Right.
Or maybe we just weren't really that close. Like I've had the same best friends.
To me, then you're not in my circle.
Exactly.
Right. You're not in my circle.
An younger me, more naive me would have thought, oh, you're my best friend. You're in my circle just because of whatever we've been friends for so long. But, with age and maturity and wisdom and experiences, you have to make those different levels in relationships.
Yeah.
And I think for me, when I take inventory of my friendships, I don't have any friends close to me who aren't willing to allow me to make mistakes or who withdraw their love from me when I do make a mistake. like I said, I make mistakes all the time without even knowing, miss a birthday. And I've got to follow up like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I have it belated. Let me send you some tip treats, whatever it is. But I think that forgiveness component is necessary because I believe that God puts friendships in our lives for us to grow. And every moment of tension, in my opinion, is an opportunity for me to have a courageous conversation. And if we are friends, I always say, if that's your friend should be able to tell you about yourself and you all should still be able to be friends. Mm-hmm. Now, there needs to be a level of decorum. Like I said, with my friends who are more introverted or quiet, I'm going to talk about my friend who's right here because we've been friends for a really long time. Sean is more of a quiet. When Sean laughed, though, she's not quiet. But Sean is very sweet. And if I have to go to Sean about a situation, I'm not going to her with rah-rah energy because I know that that's not her personality. It's not going to be received well. Mm-hmm. And also, I value her personality and who she is and how God has made her. So if I have to talk to Sean about something that I felt offended or betrayed or frustrated, I'm probably going to send Sean a text first so she can prep herself. Hey, Sean, I really wanted to talk to you about something that was on my mind. Let me know when you have time. Mm-hmm. Like there's certain steps that knowing the type of friend that is, because there is versatility and diversity in most of our friendships, respect how God made that individual and come to them the correct way. Just because you're a person that you could take it however they give it, that doesn't mean that the other person is like that. And like you said earlier, it's about how you say what you said. It's not that you have something to say. That's the issue.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very important. For me, one time, again with
girl, you better have a story.
Oh my God.
It's with that same roommate.
Circle now. I need to do inventory on your circle.
You need to bring us back the list.
This was years ago, guys. This was like 2017, 2018. Yeah. So she's out. She's out of it. But it was her, and I was trying to communicate with her because it was a night. Again, I was out. I came back to the apartment with my friends. With my sister. It was my sister's birthday. And we came back to the apartment because the streets were boring. And guess who's there with Sugar Daddy and one of his kids?
Wait.
At the apartment, right?
But you just let anything.
I don't know where I live. No. Guys, 2-bedroom apartment. We're roommates. Remember, 2 bedrooms. Whatever.
So was she paying her part?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
well, Sugar Daddy's paying her part.
Okay.
I didn't know that. Right. And then
get it how you live.
Right.
Exactly. I didn't know she was gonna be there. Like she never told me her schedule. I didn't it's our home. Whatever. We show up when we show up. And my sister happens to show up before I get there. She's pissed when I get there. She has this bitch ass face like, oh, I'm offended. And I'm like, I see her face. I asked her 3 times. What's wrong? 3 times, what's wrong? She never said a word. You know who answered me? Sugar Daddy. Sugar Daddy said, oh no, we're just going to, she went outside with her stank face. And then I went outside. This is the last time I asked her, what's wrong? She never answered. And Sugar Daddy answered me, oh, we're just going to have a smoke. Then we're going to get our things and just leave for the night. Okay. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Next day, guess who receives long petty text? Me, from your roommate, right? Toxic roommate. She said, oh, I can't believe you guys showed up last night. Somebody ate my food. They messed up with the AC all night. We were so hot in the room. I can't believe that. Oh, she even said, this is revenge for me bringing my friends at 3 a.m. After the club. And I'm like, excuse me? What? I didn't even answer.
How old was she?
She was 2 years older than me. So she was 25,
Okay.
25. Yeah. And yeah, I received this petty text the next day and everything. I'm like, okay, this is not a good friend. I show my sister, I show my other best friend, I show everybody at brunch, like, look how she's talking to me. And they're like, oh, Anna, what's going on with her? And I'm like, I don't know. I asked her last night, why couldn't you tell me all of this last night? And again, you can try to have these conversations with certain friends. Like, again, I asked her, I'm a communicative person. I need answers. I need communication. So if I'm asking you what's wrong and you still don't have the decency and respect to give me that feedback or to let me know that you're upset with me about something, then you're not my friend. You're here to manipulate
And
me.
also, like, let's stop coddling adults.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If baby, that text would not have gotten read. I wouldn't have we got the same face. I wouldn't have emphasized. If I saw her on the street, I wouldn't know a thing. Y'all remember when Kiki Palmer said, sorry to that man. You cannot, because that's also like manipulation. You start feeding into that. You start to, what you feed, it thrives. You're endorsing that behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
What y'all think about?
I don't baby people either. I don't do it.
I would have broke the lease.
I would have paid the 60-day notice, the break in the lease
Whatever
fee.
it costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Whatever.
or you and Sugar Daddy, y'all can go with me to the office and we can put his name on the lease. Because that's
Sugar Daddy cannot put his name on the lease.
Yeah.
because
He don't have no check stubs.
You need that 3.5 million.
No, he got the 3.5.
Okay, let's go to some of the questions in
Yes.
the comments
Yeah.
because we still have a major audience watching. Thanks y'all for sticking around. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what's coming up for you in this conversation. Throw it in the comments, drop your questions, and we're gonna have these ladies answer the questions that you have.
This kind of goes with what we were talking about in terms of like quiet quitting a friendship and confronting Michael Jordan, the Michael Jordan. He's
The.
watching. He said,
Like 23 from the Bulls.
yeah,
Mhm.
no, I'm kidding.
Like 23 from YouTube.
Why is being straightforward? Why does that mean that someone's being rude?
Because sometimes they are rude. Some people
Mhm.
excuse rudeness under the guise of honesty. Like, I don't like when people say I'm brutally honest. Brutal means like to kill, to maim. Like, why do you have to deliver your honesty in a brutal way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It
agree.
doesn't have to be like that.
I think when it comes to dealing with that conflict, it's so tricky, and I think this is why things get blown up and people avoid it, because both people have to be in the perfect mindset
Mhm.
and be able to address each other perfectly.
Mhm.
Because one person, if they're on edge and they're insecure and you're coming at them, even if you're coming at them in a good way, in a healthy way, they're not ready to receive that. They're gonna
Then they're gonna
attack.
say that it's rude and it's
Yeah.
coming off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is rude.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I don't think you have to be rude. I think
Yeah.
that you can be assertive in your communication and state how
Right.
you feel and what you need.
Mhm.
But also, some people just take a straightforward approach as being rude.
Yeah.
And then also for me, that's like, well, now you have to kind of sit with why you perceive. I have people tell me sometimes, like, that was really straightforward.
Yeah.
Well, how else was
Yeah.
I supposed to say it? I can't always think about how you're going to digest it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also have to check, okay, what are my intentions and my motives? If they're pure, then I'm going to say what needs to be said.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because sometimes people focus on something in a conversation that wasn't the root or the objective of the conversation. Like they grab a hold to something and then it takes the conversation another direction. Well, you said it straightforward and rude. Okay, but did you get what I said? And now
Yes.
we're talking about how I said something opposed to what actually
What
happened.
was said.
And
Right.
some people
Right.
Yeah.
just don't like what you said. So then they say it's rude, but it's not rude just because you didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like I can
Right.
say it in the
I love
most
that.
sweet, like Disney princess voice, very respectful,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but you just don't like the content. So
Yes.
then you label
Yeah.
it rude, which isn't fair at all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
They're
give us
gonna-
another question.
Yes. So Donald James says, do you guys have any experience of your friends turning enemies to friends? So like maybe like you're in your circle and there's someone you don't like. Personally, if my friend don't like you, I don't like you. I don't care. You did her wrong, you did me wrong. Sorry. There's no redeeming yourself to me. But like how would you guys feel if your friend group befriended somebody that you didn't mess with like that?
If I've had two of my best friends. We've been best friends since I was 17. If either one of them befriended my enemy, is that the question?
Mm-hmm.
That would never happen. I just cannot even imagine it.
Oh my
But if it
God.
did, that would break my heart.
Egregious.
It would break my heart. I would be
Egregious.
so disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that would feel like betrayal.
Betrayal on the highest
Especially-
level.
They probably know all the
They know
ins
that that's
and
my
outs.
enemy. You
Right,
chose
yeah.
But
no.
also
Yeah.
like the small, minute details of what actually transpired. You know, like some people you talk to, you give them like the cookie cutter version.
Yeah.
Right.
But your
Best friend.
you're probably crying, snot coming out your nose.
And people don't know that like best friend breakups are worse than romantic breakups because you don't expect that from your like best friend.
Person.
If you're dating someone romantically, you know it could work out or it could not work out. You know, there's a gamble that you take. With a friend, you don't expect like what are they gonna do? Cheat on you? You don't really expect that in a friendship.
Yeah.
So for your best like
to betray
20-year best
way,
friend to go befriend my enemy, that would destroy me.
Yeah. That's a good
It's
point.
not possible, I guess, to me. That would be like on your pad. It's not plausible.
It just I cannot even think that
I
would
can't
happen.
fathom
Me thinking
that
about
kind
my
of-
20-year-old best friend, I'm like, and she wouldn't do that. Like, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
I can't fathom it. So
But I guess that's also something to consider if you see that you have maybe it's not your best friend, but someone that you consider a confidant, and they are mingling with someone who has done something to you that is egregious.
I had a friend who did something similar and that ended the friendship. And it took me a long time to get over that. Like I talked about her in therapy for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like what you said that like, you know, with a friendship, there aren't really like clear expectations in terms of what is betrayal in a friendship because every friendship dynamic is different, right? Some people think wearing the same shirt as them is diabolical. You know what I'm saying? But then, you know, but with that does feel like, okay, if there was cheating in friendship, that would be cheating. And like I said, I ride for my girls. Like if my friends hate somebody, I hate them too. If you see me talking to them, it's because I'm getting the tea. So I can bring it back to you and we can gossip about what they told me. If anything, I'm playing both sides for your benefit.
On that same topic, let's talk about like how when your friend comes to you though with the story and your friend was wrong and they did something that was out of line, but you're on the phone and you're like, you ain't wrong. I would have did the same thing. You're not helping your friend.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've had that too. I stabilize my friend and offer support.
Come on,
and then
therapist,
later on, I'm
Yeah.
like, well, this that you did maybe wasn't the best.
Ding, ding, ding. That's the key though.
Yeah.
Not when they're angry and they're trying to tell you the story and they're looking for support.
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Like in those
They're looking for a
moments,
stress reducing
Yes.
conversation.
Right. Yeah.
Stress
Right.
invoking.
and then later you can be like, hey girl, so
Remember when you did this?
remember when you did that thing? That probably was, we agree that was
Kind of
a good idea,
diabolical.
right?
Yeah. So toxic.
And
Yeah.
I expect my friends to do that with me.
100%.
You know, like I'm at the point in my life that I want my friends to be truthful with me and let me know when I'm wrong because I don't want to go around here thinking, you know, I'm always right and everything and always right in the situation when I was wrong.
I'm gonna tell
and so
you,
I
Shaun.
expect, and I know you will. And I expect that, and
Right.
you know, to happen. That doesn't make me feel any type of way. if my
Oh,
friend
so
is-
that goes to something else. Do you want friends or do you want
Free therapy.
No.
so that's another
Yeah.
I was thinking like
I was
judgmental friends.
No, or you can say friends or like supporters, right?
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Do you want friends or do you want supporters? Do you
Okay.
want real friends or do you want people who are just
Cheerleaders, yes men.
yes?
Mhm.
Because there's a difference. What you gonna say, B?
Hey, why do you always do that?
Let my girl say what you
Okay, only because so for me, even before we get to you didn't do that, like again, going back to maturity, why are we even having the conversation to begin with? Like,
Ooh, okay, explain.
so where you said I'm checking you on A, B, C, or D, or I know I'm not always right, or like whatever these issues are, like where are the issues coming from to where you even have to have that type of conversation with a friend or someone that's in your circle?
So you're saying that it shouldn't even be a topic because it shouldn't even be happening?
Oh, is that
Because
what you're
people are
saying?
flawed.
Yeah,
They're
like
human.
to an extent though, because we're all adults, we're all grown, we all know what we're doing. So it's just kind of like, I wouldn't even put myself in the situation I feel, or not knowingly put myself in a situation to where I feel like my friend got to feel a certain way, or my friend has like, I just
Okay,
When
so
we
here's
were
an
younger,
example. Here's an
when we-
example. Like,
okay.
if we were friends and, well, let me not even use me, but if your friend like let's say it was 3 of y'all, you, your friend, and
And
Stephanie.
Cybreel.
And
Hey,
you know, all 3 of y'all are best friends, and maybe you told friend A something personal, and friend A told friend B, because y'all are all best friends,
And
just
so,
to support you. I think that's a forgivable offense with proper communication. But if somebody's sleeping with your husband, that's not a forgivable offense. So there are levels to offense. So people, they're flawed. Like, you know, she told your personal secret to the other friend, just thinking we can all rally around and support you. I think you might be offended, but that's something that you can work through with a friend.
So you're saying there's
Right.
levels.
There's levels to
Okay, but I
offense.
also agree too.
You don't think so?
Because listen, your friend is different in different seasons of their life. If your friend is going through something that is super traumatic and hard, they may not be operating.
Their judgment is flawed.
Greatest friend that you could have, and so they may do something out of pocket because of the season and the state that they're in,
Fighting for their life.
And so,
Fighting for their life.
Do we withdraw our presence, or do we offer forgiveness and have a conversation?
Sleeping with my husband?
No, that's unforgivable. That's not a conversation.
But like, if the Lord came back.
No, that was a bad example. But the good example, like,
Very bad.
like if you told me something in confidence, like the 4 of us are best friends, and you told me something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what she told me. You know, it's so bad. Let's see how we can support her. But maybe you didn't want them to know yet. You might be offended. I think those are things that we can have conversations about.
You don't think as my friend, like if it's the 4 of us, and we've been friends all of these years, and I shared that with you. You don't know me well enough to know that I'm gonna let her share it. I ain't gonna share.
I disagree. I think people are
but what if they
human.
share it with the right motives and intentions, and you have to then say, like, but I asked you not. Like, is there a conversation, like, or do you disregard them because or discard them because they breached a boundary and they messed up?
Like, you throw away 20 years of friendship because I slipped up and told your other best friend something that you told me, and I had good intentions. I wanted us to rally around, support you.
And even
mind
if
you,
it's not a
didn't
repeated
say
offense.
don't tell. You just told me in confidence. I feel like 20 years, like there are certain friendships where you give people grace to explain, to apologize, and then hopefully you
20
can
years
forgive.
has got to be a lot of grace.
Especially when you think about
for
intention.
sure, but I also think you know your friend. Like, if I tell you something and it's that extreme, I'm gonna give you or you should give me the opportunity to say those things.
I agree.
And so
I've been on both sides,
but people,
so I have
people
grace
make
for both.
mistakes.
Yeah, like I've overshared something that I shouldn't have overshared.
Yeah.
And then I've also been in the situation where someone has done that to me. So it's like, I also think like, it's like the road rage situation. Have you never cut somebody off?
Right.
Have you know, so kind of put it into perspective, like not having that grandiose idea of yourself to where people have to be perfect. Like that's been my whole thing, this whole conversation. And that's probably what I'm going to leave the audience with. Like, you got to strengthen your muscle to forgive in relationship because people literally do things.
People are people.
Yeah.
Flawed
Yeah.
all the
I mean,
time.
And everybody got their
No
own
one
stuff
is
going
perfect.
on.
Right.
That's influencing.
Their
the
judgment.
way that they respond.
Yes.
Fight or flight.
Which in that scenario that you guys were just talking about too. In that scenario that you guys were just talking about too, and I believe you said something earlier about like it doesn't always have to be cut them off, right? Like you have every right to be upset with her for saying something she shouldn't have said. But you know, realistically, would you say I can't trust you anymore? I'm not going to say it. You may be a little more mindful of what you say for a while. You know what I'm saying? That's a natural
Just
consequence.
a while, and then back to it.
Yeah.
You know, as a consequence, that's a natural consequence, right? Like if you can forgive somebody and choose to continue that relationship, but you still might have your guard up a little bit and maybe not be as like open to things. But, you know, I agree with that. Like, you know, there are some things that are unforgivable without question. I shouldn't have to explain to you why that wasn't okay. And then there are some things that every person's different. Everyone has weird little triggers. You know what I'm saying? And that you can only know so much in a friendship. I think in a romantic relationship, you get to know those like deeper things quicker. And in a friendship, you know, you're not always having these super vulnerable conversations about how you feel about each other, right? That doesn't happen as much in friendships. So like, you know, your friend may not know that like you're really sensitive to XYZ or, you know, and so I think having grace is important in friendships, but I think having those conversations is also important.
Yeah. Communication.
Right.
Can we do one more question and then we do our final thoughts?
Yeah.
What about the Facebook crew? You know, Brother Carter, Hey, Brother Carter,
The
if you
people
watching.
are asking questions.
They're-
They're contributing. Oh,
Yeah.
actually,
They're
this is a comment.
Okay.
We'll read this one. Everyone needs to have someone in their life to point out someone's BS. It's interesting because when you bring this up to some people, they get offended.
Red
The word of the
flag.
day.
Offended.
Offended.
Yes.
That's true. Okay, final thoughts. Oh no, the conversation is coming to an end, but this is a really good conversation. I
Yeah.
knew it was gonna be this good because I put the ladies together. We need some spice, a little bit of spice and everything nice. A little spice and nice. Okay, so we're gonna go to our final thoughts. Okay, I'm gonna start with Abby, and then we'll just go around the table. So we're not starting with you or you.
Appreciate it.
I was excited for this conversation. On my show and on Anna's show, we've done shows about friendships. I think so many times conversations are always surrounded against or around romantic relationships because, you know, most of us kind of deem that as like the most important relationship aside from your relationship with God that you can, you know, manage and stuff like that. So I like talking about friendships and the good and the bad, right? We talked about how it's important to nurture friendships, to keep those people in your life, but also keep them in check and allow them to keep you in check. And I think earlier you said something about like having a bunch of yes men around you. Me and my friends, we very much like she can do no wrong. Like she could literally never harm anybody. Like my best friend, she doesn't drive, and someone else like was I was at a gathering and someone else was dropped off. I'm like, oh, she doesn't drive. I said, whatever. And I was like talking all this mess, and my friend was like, but doesn't your best friend not drive? I said, I'm not talking about her. She cannot have a license. Everybody else got to have a license. So I think with true friendship, there's a little bit of, I think, blind
Bias?
support and bias. Yeah. Of like, well, it's okay. She does it, but nobody else can do it. But yeah, this was a really fun conversation. I like talking about this stuff. I think it's something that everyone can relate to and have different perspectives on it too.
Yeah.
You're so sweet.
Yeah. I loved everybody's perspectives for sure. I think honestly, you have to be constantly checking your circle. Then you don't have the right people in your circle. You know, at 30 years old, I'm happy with everybody that's in my life, and I know more people are going to come just because you know we grow,
meet new people.
we meet new people, and that's I think those bad friendships are again a lesson for you to know how to read people, to know when to allow like a new friend to be in your circle, you know, like because yes, we all want new friends, we all want to have friends, but you need to learn how to read people properly. You know, we don't want the yes man. I don't want yes men, you know, and I also don't want a friend that's always judging me, right?
Tearing you down. Yeah.
So yeah, I love the conversation. I loved all y'all's perspectives, and yeah.
But thank you for letting us be in your business.
Yeah.
Brandi, like, but your
Final thoughts.
Brandi,
Okay.
like, is she still in your life? Who was she? Where's she?
Did she benefit? That's what I need to know. This was so good. I enjoyed myself. Just going back to the topic, checking your circle. What comes to mind for me is an onion. And so just peeling back those layers and learning that certain people, like you said, are for certain seasons. So your circle, to me, that's your core. And everything around that, you just kind of not only check the circle and the things around it, but also checking yourself. So not only do you show up as who you feel you should be as a friend, but understanding what you want those relationships and friendships to look like too.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Final thoughts. This was great. It was a great experience. Had a lot of fun. I loved hearing everybody's different perspectives. I'm leaving here feeling even more grateful for my circle. It's been, you know, some people have stayed, like I said, stayed constant since we were teenagers. And then over the years, I've added and subtracted lots of people along the way, but very, very grateful. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, calm.
Oh my God.
Like, I feel like we should do like a ceremony. Like the next time we see you with the crown.
Oh,
Okay, so my final thoughts. I really enjoyed the conversation. Like she said, I have friends. Two of my bestest friends from like middle school are like still in my life. Out of all the people that I hung around, which wasn't many, but I grew up as a people pleaser and always wanted to fit in. And I was the one because I did grow up like different. I was a PK kid, so I was different, and I always wanted to be accepted and have all the friends. And of course, that didn't, that wasn't the plan, Yeah. But I have my two bestest friends since middle school that are still in my life. And of course, my best friends now that are still in so my circle is very small. And I am grateful for my circle because I do, as I got older, checked my circle because when I found out that I wasn't being the best version of myself around the so-called people that I thought was my friend, that became a problem for me and very exhausting to me. And when I felt like I was investing more into a friendship than the other person, it was time to X you out, I try not to be that no new friend person, but I am at the point of my life, no new friends, I'm good. I'm content with what I have. Yeah, I would continue to be friendly though. I love all. But I'm good with my circle, and it's good to close the door on the little circle and leave a little crack for a little hay and but peek in. It's good to audit your circle every now and then, check your circle and keep those close.
The little hair.
That's so good. Just a little creak. Okay, my final thought is going to be, I was looking it up because I didn't want to say it wrong, but there's a quote that says that the 5 people closest to you are who you are most similar to. So evaluate those 5 people and then sit down and consider, are these people that you want to be like? Audit your circle. Also, ain't nothing wrong with closing the door to your circle. If you feel like you've got a core team right now in your life and you're not really looking to, it's like dating. I'm not looking to allow other people to be a part of my life right now. I'm not interested in that. That's okay too. If you want to close the door for a little while and just nurture and maintain the relationship that you have, there is no shame in that. And I want to say thank you for watching because we're at our time and we're so glad that you stayed and you hung out with us, and come back next week at 8 a.m. for another amazing show with LV with Val.
Don't forget National Holiday.
Tell Miss Carter happy birthday.
Happy
birthday. Happy birthday to you.